Welcome, Cyclone fans, to the latest edition of the Nightcap presented by Estas. I'm your co-host and producer, Aiden Wyatt, joined by Levi Stevenson. Levi, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. Did you hear, though, today that the world tongue twister champion was arrested?
Really?
Sounds like he's going to get a pretty tough sentence.
Boo.
All right.
No. Anyway, tonight we have a very special guest. Two-time academic All-Big 12 first-teamer, former ISU basketball player Nate Schuster. Clap it up.
Yeah, nerd power.
That's how we do it. Nate, thank you for joining us, by the way.
Thanks for having me.
Aiden, what are we talking about today?
We'll wrap up the men's and women's basketball season, and we have another list yet to review. I believe that we're going to play another game at the end.
Yes, we are. We've got yet another list to review of the top whatever we come up with. Actually, spoiler alert, it is the top 100 video games of all time. So we're going to go through and look at that list. See how we feel. Yeah. We doing our ad read? You want to do the ad read? Aiden?
You know it, so why don't you take it off?
Fair enough. We want to say thank you to our sponsors at Stas Bar and Grill and Names. Been helping us out with our crazy projects for a long time. They've got Taco Tuesday specials, FAC specials on Friday, Burger Wednesday, 11 to 3 unlimited tacos for $8 every single day. And on game days, we're kind of out of game days now, but during football and basketball season, on game days, they have their lunchtime specials or their game time specials as well for drinks and food and all that good stuff. So definitely head over to Stas for some delicious food and drinks. And at the restaurant that I currently have in my Mount Rushmore of Ames drunk food, along with Superdog, Euros, and what was my fourth one?
Flying burrito.
Yes, fighting burrito.
Burrito.
I only say fighting burrito instead of flying burrito because I was not around for when it was flying burrito, but I was when it was fighting burrito, and it was.
Is that what Mr. Burrito is now?
No, Mr. Burrito is separate. So fighting burrito used to be right next to Mickey's. Or I don't know, is Mickey still there? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Well, it's just so different. Okay,
Yeah.
so fighting burrito was right next door to Mickey's. It was right between Subway and Mickey's. And it's not there anymore, I know, but it was really good because it was open till like 3 a.m. It was open forever.
What, did they have the thing like Mr. Burrito has where their hours are just like 10 p.m. to 3 a.m.?
No, they were open.
Or specifically meant for drunk.
They were open
kids?
like 11 to 3 a.m. or something like that. They were open a long time, and they would deliver all that good stuff. It was really good burritos, actually. And it was right before they were there before Pancheros and before. Well, actually, Pancheros would have been in town, but it was there before Chipotle. Or whatever. Now I will die on my grave. I'll go to my grave believing that Pancheros is clearly better than Chipotle, but I know some people feel differently and they're also wrong, but it's okay.
I'm very disappointed that you don't have Philly cheesesteaks in your Mount Rushmore.
Okay. Are you talking like from Pepper Jack's?
No, there's a stand.
Okay. That stand didn't exist when I was in college. So
it's so good.
Because when I was in college, it was Euros and Superdogs. And I think there might have been one other one, but the Euros were really good. If the Superdog line was super long, which it always was, the Euros were they were really good. Yeah. I know a lot of people commented with like Pizza Pit and Pita Pit. There's a few other ones too. I can't remember them all, but I put Jeff's in my hall of pretty good. Like, It's good. It's good drunk food. Like it's not a kind of pizza that I would just order out of nowhere for no reason. Like it's not like if I was just like, I'm gonna get a pizza, like I wouldn't get Jeff's. I'd actually probably get Domino's if I was gonna get like something on the cheaper end or whatever. Domino's is really good pizza. I like Domino's pizza. But I don't know. But then you get like Dylan Kuhn, go straight to Little Caesars.
Dylan Kuhn also said that pulled pork tasted like sandpaper.
Yeah,
so.
but he also, to be fair though, we also did change his mind at the Wide Right.
We did,
at the anniversary party when we made good pulled pork from him, and he was like, you know what, I was wrong. Pulled pork is good, and I was like, You're damn right it's good. But yeah, he was insistent forever that pulled pork is bad, and it made no sense to anybody in that chat. Like you can have opinions about it. You can like and not like food, whatever food you want. But pulled pork is one of those. It's like,
What was he eating it with no sauce?
I don't know. Like it must have been no sauce and just the driest pulled pork he's ever had. Like that's what I told him is like, dude, you don't like pulled pork because you've only ever had bad pulled pork apparently. Like
I had it once.
And he had bad pulled pork one time, and he's like, nope, all pulled pork is terrible. Fortunately, we got him converted, but that was a dark time in the history of this website. We had a guy that didn't like pulled pork. But yeah, anyways, do you want to talk about basketball? Basketball. All right.
So, Iowa State, we'll start with the men's. Dropped a game that just kind of was a little bleh. It's Miami. Shots just weren't falling. We did shoot 12 more shots in Miami, which is pretty interesting. But she wasn't there that night, and they were hitting threes. So what are you guys' thoughts on it?
Nate, I'll let you go first if you want to.
I mean, I think you could just chalk up, the Elite Eight, just the teams that made the Elite Eight and Sweet 16 and Final Four, just you can see the value of the stretch big man. Like, I feel like Wartenberg really won the game for Miami. And you could say, like, guys like McGusty
had himself a really good game.
Yeah, he was really good. But I really thought Wartenberg, just his ability, because
George
is a good rim protector, and forcing him to pull out on those three-pointers and having the guards be able to be basically one-on-one with those defenders was just really vital to me. That's kind of what happened. Iowa State scored their typical upper 50s, low 60s points, and just stretch bigs. Happens.
It was the first game of the tournament where we hadn't had somebody go off. Like a couple guys had decent games. Like Gabe had a decent game. Tyrese had an okay game. Isaiah Brockington had an okay game. But nobody had like a really good game like Isaiah, like Tyrese had in the first game or Gabe had in the second game. You didn't really have like that alpha scorer that put up a bunch of points or anything like that. And that was kind of one of the things that we had talked about prior to the game, was saying that was a key, is that Iowa State needed to have an alpha scorer. If they were going to win that game, somebody had to go off. We thought it would be Isaiah Brockington. It didn't end up working out for him in that one. I thought defensively they played well. There wasn't any stretches where like, oh my God, like Miami made a lot of tough shots. There was like they didn't have. I thought that they created and made a lot of tough shots. I don't think that there was any stretch. Like there was maybe like a possession here and there that happens. But for the most part, I didn't see any like major defensive lapses that were like, oh my God, the defense is falling apart or anything like that. I never saw that, and we forced Miami into way more turnovers than they usually have, which we all saw coming, or whatever. And it turned out that Miami, while like their defense isn't like awesome, but they forced a lot of turnovers. Like if you make them sit there and just grind out a possession, they're not as great, but definitely they're definitely capable of turning you over, and they did. And Iowa State committed a bunch of really dumb turnovers. And that was what did it. That's what did him in a lot of games during the season. That was kind of a typical game that we saw during the season. Miami ended up pulling away by making a lot of shots, making a lot of tough shots and making a lot of threes. But like I wouldn't say Iowa State played like uncharacteristically necessarily. Miami just made their shots, and that's just kind of what it was. It was hard to be disappointed with them. Miami was clearly a decent team. McGusty shot well, and like you said, the center shot. The center had a really great game. I can't remember his name off the top of my head now, but I thought Iowa State put up a decent showing. It just wasn't meant to be. Eventually, we all kind of had to know that eventually some team was going to get hot against us and put us into a bind because we're just our lack of ability to put up big offensive production.
And one thing we can't ignore that it was just kind of the biggest oops fuck of all time is having the wrong starting lineup in. I don't know what'll happen. I'm not going to speculate on that because I don't know exactly what happened, but
and
Aruna getting the start and kind of being like, oh shit, I'm in the starting lineup as it's getting called.
Yeah, I know
And
that's
then
kind of
Gabe
a weird
Kalsher
thing.
had 37 minutes off the bench, which is kind of funny.
Right. Yeah. So it's, I don't know what happened. A clerical error. Someone accidentally wrote down the wrong name or something like that. In my opinion, why I truly don't understand why it matters. Like why you have to turn in a starting lineup ahead of time. I've never understood that. Like, just send out 5 players at the beginning of the game. Those are your starters. Like I do not understand the purpose. Like I don't understand what it accomplishes to make teams confirm a starting lineup before the game, like way before the game. Not even like minutes before the game, but like hours.
Well, college basketball is just the king of having stupid rules.
It's just the dumbest rules. Like the
you can't
dumbest
be number
rules.
6.
Like that, or in like the hanging on the rim rule, just
Yeah.
tremendously stupid. Like there's a bunch of really dumb rules, and the starting lineup one is absolutely one of them that I do not understand.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me, and I don't know if it ended up. I don't think it really ended up making a difference in this game at all. Like Gabe missing the first 19 seconds of the game didn't matter, but like it was just like, why? What's the purpose? Like who benefits from this? The only people that benefit from turning the starting lineup at halftime is whoever's making TV graphics, and they're not playing the game. They're not playing the game. Like, so what are we doing here? Like, are we playing the game, or are we playing like a TV spectacle, and that's just what it is? Like, do we care about the game, or do we care about what it looks like on TV? Like, I don't know. That's maybe more that was maybe a more philosophical question than I was originally intended to. You kind of do, yeah. I don't know. I didn't mean to like get philosophical with it, but like, it's kind of like one of those things. Like you do the thing that makes the most sense for the game itself, not for the TV broadcast. The TV broadcast is just also there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like media timeouts are fine, but yeah, threatening to alter the score of the game because someone changed their starting lineup last minute. Like, what if someone got hurt between when you turn on the starting lineup and when in the start of the game? Like, let's say a guy turned his ankle or something like that. He can still play, but you definitely don't want him starting because you don't know what he looks like.
Yeah, you're just gonna have him take a take foul as soon as the tip comes off.
You just all right. Like it's tremendously dumb. I mean, there might be.
I know
there's
it's
probably
a thing
an exception, but
in Iowa high school too.
Is it
Really?
Yeah, because I remember.
That's even dumber. There's no TV.
I don't even know. It might have been my freshman year of high school. Our varsity team, we got technicals before the game because of a book error.
See, that's stupid. Like, I mean, are they trying to like prevent like some gamesmanship where like someone puts up a bunch of nobodies and they're like, "What the hell is this?" And they prepare for this for 2 hours and it comes out like, "Oh wait, it's oh my gosh, they surprised us. It's actually the starters we thought it would be the whole time." Like,
in high school too, like you're not gonna see the other team's book.
Right, you're not seeing the other team's book. There's no
So you
TV
have no way of
broadcast to
actually
account for. Who benefits by locking in starting lineups before the game? Who gives a shit? Like, what does any of this matter?
It's not like there's a lot of film in high school either.
Right.
Like in college, you're watching a butt ton of film, but
Yeah,
Sure.
high school, it's like, we play. I don't know for you guys, but like
watched-
South Polk. Like,
We watched film for like 2 games a season, and it was like sub-state. It was like the district game and like sub-state, and that was like the only things that was the only time we watched film for anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are we doing here? We're just making rules to make rules. Is what we're doing. That's what the hanging on the rim thing is. That's a rule that they put the rule in to like as a power trip, and it's just still there and enforced in the dumbest way possible.
it's just old man yells at cloud. No, don't
Yeah,
hang on
exactly.
the rims.
That's all. That's exactly what that rule is. It's just old man yells at cloud.
Stupid. I wish I could hang on the rims.
Yeah, no shit. Like if I was athletic enough to dunk and hang on the rim, I would 100% do that.
I'll do a chin up,
No shit.
like
Yeah.
Thor.
Yeah, just chin up and then sit on the rim, man. I don't even care, man. I would do that all day.
You could dunk, right, Nate?
Yeah, not anymore. There's no
Not
way.
anymore.
I probably haven't played basketball in 9 months.
Beats my like 6 years. So I don't. I got very close once in my senior year of high school, and that's about it. I never actually did it, but yeah. I did almost get us a technical foul before the game for another tremendously stupid rule where you can't touch the rims before the game.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But the dumber part of this, it wasn't even one of the rims that was on the main court. It was like in a high school gym, it was one of those side rims that like you practice on. And I like was kind of like amped up, and I jumped up and touched it before the game, and they gave us like a warning. I was like, "What the fuck are we doing here?" It's not even the rim we're playing on, which I guess is the point. Is you're not supposed to like alter the rim before the game starts or something like that. I think is the kind of the general idea of it. One, I don't know what sort of like serial rim alterer is happening before these games, but two, that's not even a rim we're playing on. That's a practice rim on the side of the gym. If someone hits that rim, they fucked up. Like the ball's out of bounds. Like I don't know what we're doing here. Yeah. Anyways, we got off on a weird tangent of stupid basketball rules. Yeah. How about the women?
Yeah, the women. So Creighton was basically the exact same team as us.
Yeah.
And they beat us at our own game, which makes it a little more
game.
painful.
Yeah.
But they're a good team, so credit to them.
Yeah.
I don't have the stats in front of me right now, but there was a stretch. I think it was in the third quarter. They outscored us like 29-18 or something like that. And they just couldn't miss from three for a minute there. It was brutal.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they call it March.
It is March.
I'm surprised. I don't know why this just reminded me, but Marchie Murdoch usually does March History Month right now during March, and I haven't seen a March History Month tweet from March yet.
Should we check up on him?
I never saw one. Maybe he's only got one day left to celebrate March History Month. So
he's waiting. Maybe he's waiting.
he's gonna dump them all.
Tomorrow's gonna be 30 tweets.
He's just gonna dump them all on the last day of the month. But yeah. It's one of those things that Bill Fennelly's teams have always been reliant on jump shots, heavily reliant on jump shots, especially from three. I mean, there's a reason that streak exists, that they've made a threes every game since like 1996 or some shit like that. Like there's a reason that streak exists. It's because they do orient themselves around shooting three. And if they go in, I would say it's hard to beat. If they don't, they struggle. And when you don't have a lot of like really like high level low post scores, I mean, Ashley Jones is really good, but she can't do everything or whatever. Like past Bill Fennelly teams that have been really good have had a good low post scorer to complement with other shooters and stuff like that. And I would say it is basically five guards. Like they don't really run a true post player. So it's kind of that it's the thing that the Hoiberg teams got criticized for is kind of the live by the three, die by the three. And they died by the three. Is what happened. Because not only were they not making them, the other team was. And it was just kind of, I don't know. It seems like it's a short, simple explanation, but that's kind of what it is. It's just they didn't make shots and Creighton did.
To quote Ray from Trailer Park Boys, which should have been on your list last week. The way she goes.
Sometimes she goes, sometimes she doesn't. That's the way she goes.
The way she goes.
The way she goes. Oh man, I actually haven't seen that one, but I feel like I've seen enough quotes and memes from it now where I can kind of get the general gist of what's going on. But
yeah, it's a waste of your time, but it's funny.
Yeah, 100% that.
Fair enough. I can think of a few movies that are like that too, where it's like there's no reason that this exists, but it's funny and that's good enough, I guess. Yeah. So going in, looking at I want to talk about the men's roster while we're kind of transitioning here. Who's talking about the transfers, who's leaving and who's staying and guys coming in and stuff like that. Because a couple key pieces, I mean, Isaiah Brockington's leaving. We know that George Condit's leaving. We know that Trey Jackson has transferred. I'm trying to think who else has
Jaden
officially.
Walker.
Jaden Walker today. Jaden Walker did. I mean, there's been rumors about a bunch of other guys too, but I don't know if there's anybody else that's officially.
I've seen some stuff about Anaruna.
I've heard 1,000 times that we think that Anaruna is going to transfer, but I haven't actually seen an official announcement about Anaruna transferring. I don't know.
I haven't either.
I haven't seen an official one. And it sounds like it's up in the air maybe with Bob Jones. I think there's.
I would think he would stay now that George is out.
I don't know. The tricky part, though, is they're going to probably try to recruit over him. No disrespect to Bob. I would hope they try to recruit over Bob or whatever.
I saw they were looking at Basili from Wright
Yeah,
State.
from Wright State, which he would immediately start over Bob Jones, no question. So it's kind of a matter of if Bob's okay playing a role where he plays 8 minutes, gets his 5 fouls, and hops out. like if he's fine with that.
I'm laughing, but that's so true.
Being the 8 minute enforcer kind of guy. There's a use for guys like that. That's not really like a knock on him necessarily. It's just that's the role he would be asked to play, I would assume. And if he's fine with that, stay or whatever, and that's great. If he doesn't, I respect it. I understand. He probably raised his profile a little bit, even though he was inconsistent for a lot of the year. He probably did raise his profile at least a little bit, and he'd be attractive to another team for sure. I think a smaller school would definitely look at taking him. But yeah, I don't know. The question here too is who's coming in, because obviously they're looking at the Basile from Wright State. They're looking at a couple other guys, the guard from Temple. I don't know. There's a few other guys. I mean, then there's this big looming question of, is AJ Green going to transfer from UNI? And if he does, is he going to go to Iowa State? And, all this, there's that kind of that looming thing. And who even knows where that's at?
I would think he would go pro first, though.
Well, I think it sounds like from what I understand, is that he's probably going to declare. And then I think someone was looking up, I saw in our Slack, people were looking up like mock drafts in the NBA, and AJ Green wasn't anywhere on any of them. Isaiah Brockington had crept up into the second round.
I saw him at 60 when he declared, like exactly 60.
Exactly 60, yeah. His biggest problem is that he's old. Like if he was like 3 years younger, he'd probably be a first round pick. But if AJ Green continues to not really be a draft pick of draft pick status, like you assume he comes back. And then the question becomes, does he stay at UNI or does he transfer to try to play at Power 6 competition and try to raise his profile and get experience against better competition, all that good stuff. I think it sounds like that's still very, very, very much up in the air. So even like you certainly can't count on him being on the roster next year at any stretch of the imagination, but it's an interesting possibility to kind of toss around. But either way, right now, Iowa State is down its best scorer. So I guess my question to you guys is, who do you think tried to, like, who fills that scoring role next year? Is it probably isn't one guy, but who takes over as the lead scorer? Is it Tyrese Hunter? Does Gabe Kalsher finally get it turned on for consistently?
If he comes back, that is.
Yeah, if Gabe
him
comes
and
back,
can both come back.
They both. It sounds like they're from everything I've read. It seems like the expectation is that both will come back, but it's obviously it hasn't been announced yet or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any secret intel or anything like that. It's just that seems to be the general thought, is that both of those would come back. So, do we expect Gabe to take a big step forward and be a more consistent scorer? A more consistent shooter, or is it somebody else? Is it Tyrese Hunter? Is it one of the freshmen coming in, like an Eli King, or is it Trey King?
I think Trey King could be your guy. But it might end up being a transfer. There's like 900 people in the portal right now, and
is that it?
that was like 2 days ago. It could be 1,200 now.
1,200 now.
But
yeah,
I think you got to look at like trying to find a stretch big, because.
And I believe Basile is a stretch big, right?
He is.
Yeah.
But just with the way that we were playing Condit in the high post look, like you could see that a lot of those centers were playing an arm length or two off of him because they knew he wasn't going to shoot.
Except for the one last second mid range, he just canned.
Yeah,
from the elbow. Like
maybe that could be the coaches saying, we don't want you taking that shot.
Right.
But you'd also think, like, if you have a guy like Basile or any stretch big,
they're going to step out on him.
Like they would be up there, which means those backdoor passes off these curls and the flare cuts would be a lot more open.
That was one thing. That was one thing that every team that slowed us down, they all just packed the lane.
Yeah, just
understanding that nobody on the team is a true sharpshooter, and you had like some guys that can knock them down. But no,
I would say Grill, but that's
Grill is probably the closest thing, but he's not like a 45% guy. He's like a 39 type of guy.
Yeah, he's 45 on the road and 20 at home.
Super. That's exactly
it
what
was
I'm
the
looking for.
weirdest splits ever.
Yeah. So like, but he's not a 45. He's not a Matt Thomas. He's like, you know, he's a guy you have to respect out there, but he's not a Matt Thomas where you're genuinely shocked if it doesn't go in. So, you know, and Isaiah Brockington, he can knock him down. Wasn't a sharpshooter necessarily, and it seemed like he always had to do it off the dribble. Tyrese Hunter struggled a little bit. Gabe was either splashing it or missing by 6 feet. There was really no in between. He's just the most confounding shooter I've ever seen because his stroke looks good. Like from what I can tell, his shooting form looks pretty good, but just for whatever reason, just sometimes would just miss by feet. And
so, just to get specific here, Caleb Grill was 52.8% on the road from 3.
really,
What was he at home?
27.5.
It's just so strange.
it's the weirdest
You
thing.
practice at Hilton all the time.
Right.
Like like it should be completely opposite.
Right. Makes no sense whatsoever.
Which game was it that he had? I think was it the Oklahoma State game on
He
the
buried
road?
like 7 threes.
I was gonna say, I think he had like close to 30 that game. Just
I think he buried like 7.
Kansas
or
State, he had 6 threes.
6 of them. Yeah,
that's what it was. Where
6
he was
to-
shooting
6
from
to
like
10 or something like that.
he was shooting from the Wildcat logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just chucking them, and they were going in. Man wanted to play in front of his home fans because he's from Mays, Kansas, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Wichita area.
Yeah, Wichita, roughly. But I don't know. That's my question: is like, who's the shoot? Like, is there a shooter on next year's team?
I think the other king, the freshman king, that's
Eli
coming.
King.
Yeah. His brother was a shooter back when I was playing, but I don't
Who's
know
his brother?
how he is. Oh, when he played I think he was a TJ recruit at South Dakota State, but
Gotcha.
both of those kids are really good.
Yeah.
Family
Looks
connection.
like he's at Winona State.
Yeah, he transferred with another kid from there, Lou Dillon.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of my interesting thing is like who's going to be. Does Iowa State have an alpha scorer next year? Or is it just kind of a thing? Like, is there a guy on the roster where you can say we need a bucket, go get it?
They could just go by committee.
It might be, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but you know, I'm thinking of like the most successful teams that Iowa State's had over the last decade. The best ones, you know, the 2013, 2014 team. Who is your dude that you like? There was a couple guys on that roster that you could be like, I need a bucket, go get it. But who is the dude that they gave it to that team when they needed a bucket? DeAndre Kane. He was the dude. You gave it to him. 2014, 2015, who was the dude? And 2015, 2016, George Niang.
Right.
You need a bucket, you give it to George. After that, Monte Morris. You need a bucket, you get it to Monte. There's other guys that could get you buckets. Deontay Burton, perfectly capable shot creator. But Monte is the dude that you wanted late in the game. And Tyrese Halliburton a little bit when he was playing, stuff like that. He wasn't quite as much of like a
Shayok.
And Shayok's a great pull. Yeah, Shayok was a dude you want taking that shot.
Lindell was like the second, yeah, but Mar for sure.
Yeah. So, but like in this last year, it was probably Isaiah Brockington or whatever. We're like, if you need a bucket, you give it to Isaiah. Who's the guy next year? And maybe it's Trey King. I haven't seen enough of Trey King. Like personally, I have not personally watched a lot as much film on Trey King as maybe I should have. But is he the guy that can go get you buckets? Does Tyrese Hunter take a big step forward to get you buckets? You know, who's it going to be? I think Gabe Kalsher is a guy that if he gets his shot more consistent, can be a guy that can go get you 15 a game. But I don't know. The scoring is still a question for me until I see like Eli King or Trey King step up and really get after it, I guess. Or I don't know if like a Demarion Watson is going to have a chance to get to play, or Taman Lipsey or something. I don't know if I'm expecting Taman Lipsey to be a alpha scorer right away, but you know, he's probably more of a distributor kind of guy. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's the one thing about these incoming freshmen is no one knows until we
Nobody knows.
watch them the first game.
Yep. But what we do know though, is that it's in a much better place than it was 2 years ago. That's quite the look from Nate. Holy cow, man. That was some gnarly side eye, man. You're gonna have to talk your way out of that one.
That was just live. I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, it seemed like you guys weren't having a ton of fun.
No, that was rough.
Yeah, it happens. I will say though, I was very happy to see when Steve landed at Murray State. I think that's a perfect spot for him. I think he seems like he loves living in Murray. They love him there.
His wife is from there, so that's
Right.
like it's all family there.
And from what I understand, they actually moved back to Murray.
Yeah, he was
before
there
he got
already.
the job.
He was there already.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's a great spot for him. It's obviously he had success there. He loves living there. Perfect spot for Steve. Couldn't be happier.
I kept in decent contact with him while he wasn't going. I mean, just asking what was going on, keeping in touch, and he seemed in good spirits. I mean, I love the guy, but
yeah.
I mean, that 2-20 year was really just Tyrese went to the NBA, Lindell left early, Cam left early.
Yeah, it kind of let the team gut it a
Leacho and Luke Anderson didn't make it to the opening day of the year before. Those guys were probably going to be relied on the next year. And we were rolling with like a bunch of COVID recruiting that no one really knew how anybody was going to pan out and just screwed everything up.
Yeah,
just wave of garbage.
Really didn't work out.
Yeah. We had 7 guys on the COVID list, including me at one point too. That Oklahoma State game. Ugh.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. They had like a starting lineup, and that was basically it.
I think we had 4 or 5 scholarship guys, and then we had like Eric on the
one
bench.
guy off the bench. Yeah. Super.
And Cade Cunningham sat because it was like, we don't need him this game.
Yeah, I think I actually remember that. That was not great. College teams sitting their stars because
they could.
Because they can, yeah. And it worked fine.
That was a good team, though.
I don't know.
But anyway, with Jaden Walker transferring, that's officially the end of the Steve Prohm era at Iowa State.
Yeah, that's the last Steve Prohm guy, which is kind of amazing because it's been 1 year.
Well, technically, you could say Tyrese Hunter because he was
true. Yeah, he was a Prohm recruit, I guess.
True, but I will say though that TJ had to re-recruit him.
Yeah, he was re-recruited, but
so I'll 50-50. I'll
because technically you could say the same thing with Nick Weiler-Babb that he was
a Hoiberg guy.
Yeah,
that's probably fair.
All right, so Tyrese Hunter is the last Steve Prohm player on the roster.
Last holdout.
There you go. Did find himself some good point guards. Definitely give him credit for that.
Absolutely. Will be interesting to see if Trey Jackson.
Yeah, if Trey Jackson ends up,
that would be so awesome.
I'd be very happy for Trey.
I could see him at Dayton with Coach Kane. That was who recruited him initially.
Okay, that would be.
So I think one of those 2 spots.
That's probably fair. I think either of those spots would be a good fit for him.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know a ton about Dayton, but I know like if he went to Murray, he'd have a chance to shoot all day and night.
I think it's kind of the same there too. I don't watch a ton of Dayton basketball.
It's fucking Dayton. Like who?
The only time you see their arena is the first 4.
Right. And I drove past it like twice when I lived in Ohio, but this is the 3rd time I've thought about Dayton in my entire life. So I don't know.
It's probably 2 more than me.
Yeah. What else we got going on here?
Nate, what's some that you kind of noticed differently between Otzel Basket Burger Ball and what Steve Prohm was doing a year ago?
Yeah, I'm very curious
because from a fan perspective, it's almost like polar opposite, as in like we're very very defensive oriented.
We're out there to get a bar fight and just see if a basketball goes in the hoop on accident.
We're the team that we would complain about like 5 years
100%.
ago, and like this 100%. Isn't basketball.
Yeah,
this is bullshit. Like then we're like, fuck you, we're gonna beat you. They start beating up people who have the beer bottles and shit.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like we emphasize defense a lot. Like that's all we did because we went like. I mean, we obviously won no games in conference, but eventually it got to the point where it's like, we're just gonna do defense for like 3 hours today, and that was practice. And it was like just some guys just like weren't understanding basic help side principles kind of deal.
Sure.
Mhm.
And I don't now I'm not in the practices with TJ or any of that guy, and I don't really ask a lot either, so I have no
Sure.
insight anymore. But
Damn it, Nate. That's why we
sorry,
got you.
guys.
You're supposed to know the good shit on the inside.
But just from the way that they play, like I feel like our principles were we were trying to play on ball, heels on the 3-point line, the FIBA line. TJ's got them playing like you're within like a forearm's length away, doesn't matter where.
Yeah.
So that's something. It looked like they have a specific way of doing ball screen coverages, which we were shifting that all the time.
Mhm.
We were going from hard hedges to ice screens, which do you guys know what that is?
Yeah. Yep.
And
Mhm.
then flat shows and drop.
It might be worth explaining it for someone that doesn't watch or doesn't.
So like an ice screen is you're trying to force the ball handler away from actually using the screen. So if this guy's a ball handler right here, sorry, I'm just feeling in a mirror right now. You're trying to force him to keep going this way rather than go around over the screen like that. So it's essentially a trap, but we would switch that based on what team we were playing. It seems like TJ's got them strictly doing one, which I personally agree with a little bit more because we couldn't figure out one good way of going over a screen, much less 5. But offensively, they're a lot different too because we were trying to play motion, spacing, quick ball screens, and ball reversals. They seem to just play through the high post and cut back doors and do a lot of elbow actions. So it's really different, and I kind of actually struggle watching it because I'm like, I don't really know what the end goal of this offensive play is, but
That's kind of where we were on some of these.
you can kind of tell towards like as I watch more games, like, oh, this is going to be Brockington coming off of a dribble handoff, going to his left hand, going to shoot that top of the key mid-range jump shot. But
Sure.
some of it was like, where are we going with this?
There was a lot of it where it was just a motion high from a high handoff basically.
Yeah,
just
like,
tons and tons of motion.
just
Like
like
just a bunch of wheel plays is all it is or whatever. And it's kind of like, I don't know.
And we were trying to throw it into solo a lot that year.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I don't think I saw any low post entry passes to a big this year. Because Isaiah got a few.
I mean, yeah, Isaiah got a few, but like
in general, it's like
look at like personnel. I mean, like Condit and Bob Jones are not like the ultra skilled low post savants or anything like that. They're more like kind of big athletic enforcer type guys or whatever.
And Kuntz is a stretch 4.
Four, right? So I think that's probably more of a personnel thing. That's why I think I'm not putting hardly anything stock wise into scheme from this year, like what TJ Otterberger's offenses are going to look like going forward, because the personnel this year he was locked into what he had. Yeah. He was limited on how flexible you could be because you didn't really have a lot of shooters to space the floor. The one guy that you knew can knock down jump shots is a mid-range guy, and he also excels in ISO. Like he's not a catch and shoot guy or whatever. So like your best shooter is a mid-range guy and he's an ISO guy. So it doesn't lend itself well to like a Hoiberg style offense where you're really flinging it around and
fluid motion
and you're really spinning around and trying to find open catch and shoot opportunities and stuff like that. There's like you don't have the personnel to run something like that. So but coming forward, and it seems like he's trying to recruit more and more shooters, which makes a lot of sense because he played with coaches that had lots of shooters, and his teams at South Dakota State had lots of shooters and things like that. So it makes sense that that's the direction he wants to go. So I'm not going to put too much stock into the offense that they ran last year as far as future prospects go. Like I don't think his future teams will continue to be that bad offensively. I do think the defense can uphold though. My question, Nate, do you think that they got worn down playing that style of defense? Like as the year kind of went on? Because I mean that's a very taxing way to play defense.
So when we were talking about Gabe earlier, and you're talking about like how his jump shots would be like they're either in the basket or he's airballing over the basket in the corner.
Right.
I feel like that it could wear on you in a game because I feel like
Sure.
he expended a lot of energy on the defensive end because
Oh yeah,
honestly, he was probably I mean,
probably
Hunter was the best, but he's probably
second
1B in
best
terms of
defender. Yeah.
yeah, like he's guarding the best two guard, which Hunter can't really guard the bigger guys because he's a smaller guard,
Right. Right.
but Schuster can, and that can wear on you.
Sure.
And I think you can say a lot to there was a ton of moving screen calls this year with the big men.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
tons.
think that's a wear down on defense too. So and they weren't really deep either because they had all those transfer outs. Like I know for a fact that Hinson was going to play a big role this year when they were looking at the initial roster, and I don't think they expected Xavier to have those issues either. And he would have helped too with just big man rotations.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think they did get worn down a little bit. Big 12 schedule is just hard because
It's also brutal.
you're only getting depends on how they scheduled it, but at most you're getting like a 2-day prep time, and that's really not enough, especially when you need to recover too.
I mean, the Big 12 was good enough that we probably need to start having a conversation on if it was the best conference, single season conference in the history of college basketball. I mean, there might be like some Big East season back in the 80s where you had a bunch of good teams.
In modern era.
And as far as within the last couple decades, modern era, whatever you want to call it, since the 90s, basically, I don't even know if there's even an argument for the second, for a better conference on a single season basis. Where, I mean, like you had a couple teams that did make the tournament, but like West Virginia beat some people, Kansas State beat some people,
Oklahoma should have made it. And
Oklahoma should have made it. Oklahoma State would have made it if they weren't ineligible,
which is garbage, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, you had 8 teams that deserved to be in, and 2 more that like Kansas State was on the bubble for a long time, and West Virginia ended up fading a little bit, but they were still competitive in against good teams. They were still very competitive. So it's kind of like I don't even know how you deal with that conference because I mean it was like they have 7 teams in the top 25 defenses or top 30 defenses or something like that, and like
yeah, I think every
4
team
in
is
the
the
top
top
10 or,
50.
yeah, and like 4 of them in the top. Like West Virginia had the worst defense at like 63 or something like that. And it was, which is like still that's like middle of the road for most conferences, but that's like
Say that'd probably be pretty good for the Big Ten.
yeah. And then you look at
like
Miami was like one of the better defenses in the ACC, but they were like 160 something.
Yeah, they were like one. Yeah, they're pretty deep.
Yeah, I mean, and they were like way below the worst defense in the Big 12. And one thing that kind of reminds me, one thing that did annoy me in the tournament is how different the officiating was in the tournament versus the regular season in the Big 12. Because like in the regular season, they didn't call shit. It was a UFC fight most of the time. And you used to playing like that. And like, if that's how they're going to officiate the tournament, let's do it. We're fine. That then is what it is. I mean, there's probably, you think maybe there should be more fouls called and stuff like that, but it is what it is. If they're going to do the same thing every time, then that's what they do. That's fine. But you get to the NCAA tournament, they're really nitpicky about lots of different stuff, about moving screens and about just little ticky-tacky stuff. And I would say it's piling up tons and tons and tons of fouls. I mean, they were still a heavy fouling team during the season, but like not like they were in the NCAA tournament. I mean, the officiating was different now. You almost had to kind of change how you were playing defense. You couldn't play nearly as aggressively as Iowa State had played most of the season because the officiating is so different. And that was, I found that very annoying. It's like, I mean, if you're going to be ticky-tacky, it has to be ticky-tacky across college basketball the whole season. If you're not going to call shit, then you can't call shit in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think that's a big issue, but there's so many games, and some of these refs don't do Big 12 games. Some of them are like strictly to Big 10 or ACC or all that stuff.
Right.
And
it's
I know
hard.
Higgins.
It's hard.
I know Higgins does all that, all different leagues, and
Sure.
I mean, people hate his guts, but I actually kind of think he's pretty good because he's pretty consistent, but he does make the show about himself.
Hating Higgins is kind of a meme more than anything. Like I think like if you ask like Brent Bloom, he always respects Higgins. Like there's sometimes where he makes some shit. He sometimes he kind of puts on a ref show for once in a while, but like
he loves a good emphatic charge call.
Right. But like for the most part, he's not bad though.
And then there's whoever the guy who tossed Huggins in the Big 12 tournament. I like him, but he did a lot of the games in the NCAA tournaments too, and he can sometimes. I mean, refs have off nights too. They're just like players, so
sure.
Who knows? It's hard.
Mm-hmm. What else? Do we got anything else kind of to dig into at all, Aiden? Oh, I should say, Iowa State football has an open practice on Friday, at 5 p.m. at Ames High School. I know I will be there. I know Matthias is going to be there. Aiden, are you going?
I will not be there.
Aiden's a fucking loser. He's not going to be there.
Who's the RB1 this year? Do we know?
I would assume it's Darrell Brock. I don't know if it's
Brock.
like been decided, but it'll be Darrell Brock, I would assume. But I would expect to see Deion Silas and Eli Sanders to get a fair share of carries for sure.
And X is back too, right?
X is back.
Mm-hmm.
Did Shaw leave?
Nope.
Or
Shaw's still here. Sean Shaw's still
losing my
here.
mind?
No, you're good. Sean Shaw's still here.
Who was the receiver that left? I know there was one that left. Was it Milton?
Tariq Milton left, yeah.
I knew it was one. It was one of those single digits. I don't know. I know there's Landon Akers and a bunch of single digits that don't really.
Yes.
An X.
Yes, and X. Yeah, so that'd be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing. There's a lot of things, but I'm specifically looking forward to seeing Hunter Deckers throw it around the field. I have to imagine with people in attendance, they're going to try to kind of let him loose and throw some stuff deep. I'd have to imagine. I'm looking forward to that because I think he's got the skill set where he can push the ball downfield, where you think that you can have a more explosive vertical offense than we've seen the last few years. So I'm excited to see that. I'm also hoping to see that they run some 4-down sets on defense. We'll see. Because 4-down, I think, would be really good for Will McDonald specifically. But anyways.
I'm surprised he didn't go to the draft.
Sort of. He's a little bit small, and he needs to put more. He's more film on for being a run defender, for being a good. He needs to improve being a run defender on film. I also pretty sure he got a pretty sweet NIL deal. So I think that's part of it.
I saw a few mock drafts early because he's from Waukesha North. That's where my dad went to high school.
Right.
But I saw
some that had him like in the end of the first round.
Yeah, he was. I saw somewhere he was going 9.
Right.
That was like,
if he puts on some weight,
week 3.
If he puts on some weight and really like carves out where he's going to play in the NFL, either as a stand-up edge rusher or as a 5-tech defensive end, and improve his run defense, one of those two things. If he does that and carves out a definite role in the NFL for himself, and then puts on a little bit of weight, I think then you can definitely talk about him as a first rounder. But we'll kind of see. He's like you see, he's a little bit small right now for a defensive end. He's only like 240 pounds. The roster might have him at 245, I guess. But
where do you guys like Breece Hall going? Where do you want him to go?
Where do I want him to go?
Yeah.
Probably the Bills.
Because I've been seeing Buccaneers and Chiefs.
Both of those would be good. The Buccaneers are going to fall down this year, I think, a little bit. Well, I don't know. Tom Brady's not leaving, I guess. They'll probably be fine.
Well, you know who is leaving? It's Bruce Arians.
Yeah, he just retired.
Did he really?
Yeah,
he's gonna do front office stuff, but Todd Bowles is gonna be their coach.
Oh, they'll be fine. I mean, the Buccaneers, the Bills, and the Chiefs are all good options. I'd personally like to see the Bills because I think if you draft them there and you got Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen, and those two plus Breece Hall is a pretty nice little deal. But with the Chiefs having a bunch of extra picks now, maybe they take Breece Hall and maybe they decide to move on from Clyde Edwards-Helaire and take Breece Hall and decide to have an extraordinarily OP offense, even though they lost Tyreek Hill. Having a genuine number one running back could do a lot for them and take a lot of pressure off Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, as a Packers fan, replacing Tyreek Hill with MVS is just absolutely idiotic.
Well, I don't know if it's just I don't think it's meant to be a 1-to-1 thing because it's him that
feels like that to me.
And Juju Smith-Schuster.
Represent the name.
Yeah.
Part of it.
Yeah. So you got those two, but then like they picked up a bunch of draft picks, and this draft is really heavy on receivers. There's a ton of good receivers in this draft. Like you can get a receiver in the second round, and they'll be ready to go right away. But like, it's a really receiver-heavy draft. It's a very, very deep receiver class, so they can get guys to replace Tyreek Hill. And in the end, too, if Tyreek Hill didn't want to play in Kansas City, the best thing you can do is ship him off, and they got a ton of picks for him. Tons of picks for him.
All right, so we're rooting for Breece Hall to the Bills.
I'm personally rooting for Breece Hall the Bills. I think he'd be a tremendous fit there. They're really good. They're like a piece away from winning, from getting in there. I think he'd be awesome on the Bills. Plus, they're fun to watch, and they're easy to root for.
Yeah,
because Josh Allen's super cool. Buffalo's a good underdog. Breece Hall. I'm in. The trick, though, is if he's going to be a first-round pick, because running backs aren't worth shit in the NFL anymore. So, I don't know. It's hard to say. But I think Iowa State will have at least 5 people drafted. I think Breece, Mike Rose, Charlie Kohler, Annie Wazirike all get drafted for sure. And then one of Brock Purdy or Chase Allen.
I think Brock Purdy will make an NFL roster. It just depends on
I think he'll make a
if
roster.
if he'll get drafted. He could be like Nate Stanley and be a UDFA.
He could be a UDFA. Like if he was like a UDFA and went to New Orleans, I think that'd be a great fit for him. Go be whoever their quarterback's gonna be this year. Go be the backup.
Well, he'd be third string. They just signed Dalton, I think, but
they just signed who?
Dalton.
Andy Dalton.
Backup.
Oh,
Chicago Bears legend Andy Dalton.
have the Saints actually picked do they have a starter or do they just have a backup? What?
Jameis.
Oh, are they still gonna roll with Jameis?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
they re-signed him, I think.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Sit behind Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton will be on a different team next year anyway, so it's who cares, or whatever. I don't know. I think the Saints would be an interesting option as far as a backup for them, or if the Chiefs need a backup for Pat Mahomes or something like that. That actually would be pretty interesting because their offense is crafty enough. It's like it'd be able to be nearly as like vertical it is as with Pat Mahomes, but they've got a good enough piece and they got a good tight end and all this that would fit Brock pretty good actually, and lots of route runners like Juju Smith-Schuster and Valdez-Scantling and all that.
So who wears 15 then? Because Patrick Mahomes got absolutely boat raced.
I'm gonna guess Brock. Brock is gonna get 15. Pat Mahomes will move.
I mean,
Pat Mahomes gets 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5.
Make him wear 51. Like a center.
Actually, we were talking to Alan Lazard last summer, and it's actually apparently very expensive to switch your jersey number.
Yeah, you have to buy out.
You have to buy out
all your old jerseys,
all of the merchandise that's on the NFL store and in team shops. You have to buy all of it.
What if
it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars to switch your number?
Let's say like some guy, let's just in Alan Lazard's place. Like, what if I get drafted to the Green Bay Packers and they say you can have 13? So Alan Lazard's got to go buy all the 13 stock now because I want to.
Well, that's not how the number thing works. Like you just get pick of whatever's available.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Packers are not going to be like are not going to be like they're not going to draft somebody like they draft Jordan Love and it's like you're going to be number 12. Aaron, figure it out. Which honestly kind of sounds like something the Packers would do, but
well, they basically did that already.
They basically did.
Yeah, just do anything they can to piss Aaron Rodgers off.
Yeah, because maybe he'll play a little better.
It is truly amazing how many things the Packers do that explicitly don't help Aaron Rodgers at all.
I'm a fan. I hate them.
Whatever makes sense to help him. Receivers, get some defense, all that.
We're just not going to re-sign any receivers this year, and we're going to trade
first
the
round quarterback
you ever had.
First round quarterback, no receivers.
Yeah, and then the third string tight end.
All right, I guess.
Speaking of
good news, Alan Lazard going to be the number 1 receiver and going to catch 1,200 yards. Going to be fucking awesome.
I got his jersey for a reason.
Hell yeah. Plus, he looks dope in 13. Be better than 5.
It is pretty sweet.
13 looks good on him.
5's retired in Green Bay, I think. That's why he's not 5.
Is it?
Yeah. All those old geezers
like
from
old
1943.
Yeah.
Who was pissing people off, Aiden?
You.
Me?
On Twitter.
Some Hawkeye fan said something to me.
You're telling me an Iowa fan got mad online.
Impossible, right?
Impossible.
Yeah, because he was like, I tweeted something about thanks for the memes or some stupid like that because I was just trying to
because J-Bo's a tool.
Get under people's skin,
right?
Because it's fun, and he was like, "No way, this backfires tomorrow," because we hadn't played LSU yet, and I was like, "How's this for a backfire?" And I'm blocked.
You bitch.
No, he blocked me. I don't block people. I don't. You want to get mad at me? Cool. I don't care. But yeah,
I used to be like the I won't block anybody type of thing, but then I had this realization. It's like, this is my Twitter. Fuck you. Like, this is my party. I'm not, like, if you're being a dick, I'm not gonna let you hang out over here. I'm not gonna let you be annoying.
it was really funny to see all of the Hawkeye people that were like 17 career minutes, 0.4 points per game. I was like, and you got me
Who
one?
gives a shit?
You got me. I didn't already know that.
I played college basketball. You played it on a video game.
I know I sucked in college.
You were a first team all Big 12, bud.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
In the classroom.
Champions in the classroom, man. This is the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
Did you piss off some Wisconsin fans too?
Oh yeah,
That Brad Davison tweet.
Yeah, I living here, I can't stand that. So I was at the LSU game, and then Wisconsin played right after against Colgate. So I'm rooting for Colgate because one, be a better game for Iowa State, and two is like, one, I love chaos. So, and all the family members, because I was in the family section, they all left the section where they were sitting to go hang out with the team. I was like, I want to watch this game. I got a ticket. I'm in the third row. Why not? All these Badger fans, these just douchebags, just come up and just flood the section. I'm like, these aren't your seats. So I was that ticked me off, and then just watching. I haven't watched my first college scrimmage. Actually, was against Brad Davison in Wisconsin my freshman year. It was a closed door at Platteville, and
it was
just something about him irked me a little bit. I was just like, no.
Where was the scrimmage at?
Wisconsin Platteville.
Really? It's in Platteville? Oh, I mean, because I live like 35 minutes from Platteville, so
yeah, it was. Apparently, that's a middle ground between Wisconsin and
that's about right.
Madison and Ames. It's not.
It's
like,
well, it's
like
closer. It's closer to Wisconsin. It's closer to Wisconsin.
It's like a 45-minute drive for them. It's like a 3-hour drive for us.
Right. It's. I mean, but what else? What else were we gonna put midway? We got Co College in Cedar Rapids or something like that.
Kirkwood would be nice for me,
I guess. But
I
mean, because like otherwise between Cedar Rapids and Dubuque, it's like there's nothing in between those two. And by the time you're in Dubuque, you're basically in Platteville, anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
whatever.
We played them, and just Ethan Hatt kicked our ass, but he was Ethan Hatt. Like, he was,
he's really good.
He was top 5 Badger scorer ever, but God, Brad just wouldn't shut the hell up. He's got this high pitched voice. I don't know if you guys ever hear it. Ethan, I'm open. And just listening to that for like 40 minutes, I'm just like, God, I just can't stand this guy. And then I think that year was the year that he took like 7 charges against Rutgers or something like that. I was like, dude, like, that's not defense. You're just like trying to get in somebody's way and fall over.
Right.
And so that just, and then living in Wisconsin too, all these Badger fans are just like, he's the best thing ever.
It's funny, like we played him once, and then like I'm like 2/3 through this game, was like, I think I hate Wisconsin now.
I can't stand them.
Yeah, I never really had anything against Wisconsin.
No, I didn't. And I always said that, like, if I was going to cheer for a Big Ten team, I would probably cheer for Wisconsin. I don't think I would anymore.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I've soured on Wisconsin.
I'm gone with them, and I got friends that go to Madison. I'm just like, hey, I can't stand your stupid basketball team. So I don't care how good you think they are. They're not making the Sweet 16, so eat me. So, well, yeah.
I thought it was kind of funny that I'm sure you guys saw the video of him crying, like on his way to the locker room.
Yeah,
I was going to tweet that one out too.
You should have tweeted directly at him. It'd been great.
So
I should have seen it Bohannon.
I was just curious to like look in the replies and quote tweets and stuff, because I knew that there were going to be people saying, yes, he's finally gone. I was expecting some people to be like, I can't believe you would say that. He's just a kid. There was not a single reply or quote tweet.
That's a whole ass adult, my dude.
Yeah. There was not a single reply or quote tweet, like, feeling sorry for the kid at all, which I thought was kind of hilarious.
like everyone's like, this guy's a douche.
I think outside of Badger fans, that guy might be the most universally disliked person in
Yeah,
college basketball.
it's like him and J-Bo, and then everybody else.
I really think Davison's worse because even
I believe
I
it.
think some people do like J-Bo.
Not Iowa fans.
Not
There's
Iowa
not
fans. Yeah.
Iowa fans are no fans of J-Bo. I don't know.
I think that might make J-Bo more tolerable though. Because
that's what I was kind of going for.
Because some are like, oh, we can't stand him. We want him out of here. Davison fans are like, we want him to stay forever.
Right, because they love him, but everybody else hates him.
Yeah,
that's probably fair. Yeah, but we do know that one person is better at taking punches to the face than the other one. We can only assume, but we're not gonna. Who's to say?
Did you guys see there's a picture on Twitter and it was Juwan Howard and Will Smith and they just slowly morphed into one another?
I saw the one of I can't remember what movie it's from with Leo DiCaprio. He's like pointing at the TV and it had Juwan Howard's face on it.
Once in Hollywood.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
Yeah, it had Juwan Howard's face on that watching the Oscars. I thought that was pretty good one.
I think it's funny that Michigan lasted longer in the tournament.
Yeah.
And Juwan Howard smacked his assistant coach in the face.
Oh, man.
I sympathize with Juwan Howard. I would also smack a Wisconsin coach in the face.
Yeah. Like I said, it only took me like 35 minutes, like 30 minutes of game time for me. Like I kind of hate Wisconsin now. Like didn't previously, but now I do.
There was a play in that Wisconsin game where Davison had 4 fouls and they were running the elbow action and George handed the ball off to whoever Brad was guarding.
And Brad jumped into George.
And Brad just like Jokic into Morris over George. I was like, you're seriously not going to call that a foul? Like,
and I think they called it an illegal screen on George then.
Yeah, because George was rolling and Davis ran into him because he was
just
mad.
Straight up jumped into him. George went to the ground. He's like, foul on George.
Well, Davison stepped on George's ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
George
absolutely did. Horrible.
A little shit.
Yeah. But we love Brad.
Whatever.
Nobody else does. But
good riddance.
Yeah. We don't have to play him regularly, so that's fine.
Thank God. I hope we don't have to do conference realignment.
Him and J-Bo are going to make excellent used car salesmen after their career in Latvia. It's going to be great. Like from New Girl, where all the basketball games take place on a hill. It's like there's an uphill and a downhill basket, and they're in the grass.
Yeah, they can shoot their bad step back threes somewhere else, not on TV, where I don't have to watch anymore. There
you go. They're gonna be so bad at the Russians aren't even gonna invade Latvia. They're like, these fuckers got it ruined already. But anyways,
this place has already been destroyed.
It's already been destroyed. Oh man. All right, we got anything else you want to go over before we review our list?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Before we get into this list,
yeah,
I need to say that I've only played sports video games.
That's fair.
So I'm going to put the over/under at 3.5 for games
of ones that you've played. Yeah.
Yeah, out of the top 100.
I took a little gander at the list already. I could have a few on here.
I'm probably gonna have a decent chunk that I either know or have played. So we'll see. All right. So what we got here? Okay, let me make it bigger. Okay, that is actually not there. It's just a reference in the article, but it is. I guess it is a little bit of a spoiler that Portal 2 is in here. But the number 1 game of all time, for anyone that's played it, will not be surprised. It is Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. I've never had a Nintendo. I haven't had a Switch, but everybody I've ever talked to that has ever played this game cannot stop talking about that game. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I guess like based on what I've heard, this probably deserves to be there, but who knows?
I've heard Zelda: Ocarina of Time is
another
really good.
Another. I'm sure it's on this list. Super Mario World, that's totally fair on the old Super Nintendo. Great game. This one, Portal 2. I'm so happy that this is up here. Portal 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I love Portal. If you guys have never played Portal, it's outstanding. The first one is really, really good, and the second one is. I would guess the first one's probably on this list too, but the second one is a masterpiece. It's so good.
Can I say this quick?
Yeah.
I need Lego Star Wars on here.
Lego Star Wars. The Lego games are shockingly very good. They may seem like something that's like super kiddie and weird, but not. Lego games are good.
I'm buying the new one that comes out in like a week.
I'm gonna too. Legend of Zelda: Link Pass. I've not played that one, but it's a Zelda game, so everyone likes those. Super Metroid's an older game. I've never played it, but I've heard it's a classic. Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect is another one of those series. I have not played Mass Effect. I would really like to. I know, but everybody that's ever played Mass Effect loves Mass Effect 2. So this doesn't shock me that this is up here based on what I hear. Super Mario 64, all-time classic. Red Dead Redemption 2, great game. Excellent game. I actually liked the first one a little bit better. I know I might be in the minority there. I liked the first Red Dead just a little bit better, but I don't have any qualms with Red Dead 2 being up here. There is a game that I have in my head that that we're only at 8. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm kind of surprised I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming we're gonna. Half-Life 2 is one of those games. It's a cult classic. There's lots of people that love Half-Life and Half-Life 2. I haven't played it. It's an older game. It came out a long time ago. But this is one of those, like, it's a cult game that everybody loves, and they've been asking for a Half-Life 3 forever. Disco Elysium. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, I love that game.
I've never heard of this game in my life. I pride myself on having, like, a fairly good knowledge of video games, even if I haven't played them, kind of knowing what they are. I've never heard of this game in my whole life. I don't get it. Super Mario 3. It's a Mario game. Grand Theft Auto 5. I actually like this here. Grand Theft Auto 5 is an excellent, excellent game. And
That's one that I've played.
And you know that it's great because the online community is still extremely active a decade now. This game came out a decade ago. And they are they're still putting out new content for it. It is a decade old.
They're not even trying to make sense.
Almost. They're not even they're not
2015.
Okay, so it's 8 years old.
Still, regardless.
But still, regardless, or 7 years old. Regardless, it's been out forever.
Is that a whole console ago? Is that
came out on the 360?
I was gonna say. I think that
360 PS3. The 360 PS3 generation is when that game came out, and it has now been remastered for the next generation. It's two consoles old. It's 2 consoles old.
That's impressive.
That's incredible, and they're still putting out new content for it. That GTA Online has a huge player base. It's really impressive how the longevity of that game. Hades is the one I've never played, but I have I've heard good things about Hades. We've got some Breath of the Wild slander here. Apparently, he said Breath of the Wild is not that great, so we'll see. I don't know. I haven't played Breath of the Wild, but who knows? Castlevania. I haven't played this one. It's another one that's it's an older game, but I've heard it's good.
I need Assassin's Creed on here.
What do you think? What do we got here? Halo 2. I'm on board with this. Halo 2 is my favorite Halo, and I mean Halo games in general are very good, but Halo 2 is incredible.
I like Reach and 4 the best. But
Reach. I can be on board with Reach. Like I can definitely. Their campaign of Reach is unbelievable. It's really good. Reach and Halo 2 are definitely up here for me. Halo 4 I liked it, but it wasn't I wasn't as crazy about it.
I think just the multiplayer on 4 is why I like it.
Yeah, the multiplayer on 4 was very good. But yeah, the Halo the campaigns on Halo 2 and Halo Reach are untouchable. They're so good. Also Halo Reach had Rocket Race on multiplayer and it was ridiculously fun. Okay, this is the game I was talking about before. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is a game that I've heard it in conversations for the best game ever made. It is a phenomenal game. An absolutely phenomenal game. If you have a chance, if you have the time to sit down and play The Witcher 3 is outstanding. It's a really great game. What do we got next? Last of Us. I've played that. It's a good game. I think it deserves to be up there. It's a very, very good game. The story is really dramatic, and it's 100% worth your time to play through The Last of Us. It's a zombie game, but it's really good. It's not like your typical it's not your mowing them down type of zombie game at all. It's very narrative driven. BioShock. I love the BioShock franchise. My favorite is BioShock Infinite personally, but all of the games are great. I don't know. This seems like we're Aiden, are you still at 0?
I have Grand Theft Auto.
You played GTA 5. Have you
I
played any
mean,
of these so far, Nate?
If my mom was watching, I have not played Grand Theft Auto 5.
I remember when I got it was when because it came out for the original Xbox. GTA San Andreas came out when I was like, I'm trying to remember what year did GTA San Andreas come out? Let's see. GTA San Andreas came out in 2004. So I would have been 12. So I'd have been like in sixth grade, 7th grade. And I remember because in the first, like one of the first scenes of the entire game, you get going in there and you hop in and you hop on a bike and you have to follow one of the kind of the sidekick guy or whatever. And he goes, "Keep up, motherfucker," or whatever. And I had my TV super loud and it played or whatever. And my mom, like I could hear my mom yell from the kitchen, like, "What the hell did he just say?" But anyways, BioShock is a really excellent game. The BioShock series is specifically known for really good plot twists. So if you're into that kind of thing, BioShock is an excellent series. All of them are good. Bloodborne. Bloodborne is part of the Dark Souls / Demon Souls / Elden Ring. I'm assuming this list is probably older than Elden Ring because if this had come out now after Elden Ring was out, I'm assuming Elden Ring would be up pretty far.
This list came out December 31st.
Okay, so it was before Elden Ring. But Bloodborne is widely considered a very, very good game. It's part of that same franchise with Dark Souls, Demon Souls, and Elden Ring. I haven't played it, but I've heard it's very good. Undertale, I feel like I've heard of Undertale, but don't really know anything about it. Is Super Mario? Okay, the original Super Mario Brothers. Yeah.
Can we get Wii Sports Resort yet, or what?
We better get Wii Sports Resort. It's a truly phenomenal game. Street Fighter 2. I mean, it's Street Fighter. I'm not a big I'm not a big fighting game kind of guy, but I mean, Street Fighter. It's a legendary franchise. Yes, the original Portal. I told you the original Portal would be on this list.
God, you got two games in the same franchise. I can't even get one.
Oh, it's so good. I'd have to imagine Halo 1's probably on here, but who knows? Chrono Trigger. I feel like I've heard of that, but I don't know anything about it. God of War. I haven't played it, but I've heard tons of good people that love God of War. It's coming to Xbox or no, it's coming to PC pretty soon, so I might try to play it. Half-Life, Alex. That's Half-Life game. This is the new one though, that came out in VR recently. Apparently, I don't know. Maybe it must be really good. Because VR is still really young. So it's interesting that they have a game this high up already that was on VR, but
no Call of Duties yet.
Not a single one. I don't know like which one are you gonna put on there. I mean, like Call of Duty 4 or Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 seem like the only two that really deserve contention for there. I guess I would say maybe Black Ops 2.
Scroll up one. Is that the game that I think it is?
I'm thinking it's Tetris. Yep.
Okay. So Tetris is 28th on this list. We don't have Wii Sports Resort, NCAA Football 14, NBA 2K15. None of those make this list, but Tetris is at 28.
Tetris is the most played video game of all time.
That doesn't mean it's good.
That's exactly what it means.
I can't get Michael Vick 04.
Yeah.
Also, if you guys haven't watched the Tetris Championships on live TV on ESPN,
don't you remember last year when one of our games
after the
was
game,
not on ESPN?
Right.
Because the Tetris World Championship
the Tetris Championships was right after it, is what it was.
No, there was one game where we had to go to ESPN News.
All I know is that I watched the Tetris Championships, and they were electric. Phenomenal TV.
This list is fraudulent.
Doom. This must be the original.
Like the Badgers.
I assume this is the original Doom, not the new one. Yeah, this is the original Doom, which is obviously that's a wildly popular game. There's a reason
podcast.
They made new. They made new versions of it. They've made a Doom movie. It's Doom. Final Fantasy 14. I'm not a Final Fantasy guy.
Super Smash Bros. What are we doing with this list?
Yeah, how is that not up?
That's what we're talking about. We're reviewing this list.
This list sucks.
So we've got to 30. Is there anyone that you can legitimately say like this is absolutely a snub that it's not in the top 30?
Super Smash Bros. Mario Kart.
100%.
The Wii.
Yeah, both of those.
Mario Kart
as top 30 games. I mean, top 100. I'm 100% on board that they're top 100 games. But top 30 though.
I haven't heard of most
I'm
of these
telling
games.
you, you can't
So
play
that means that they're
Tetris with 4
irrelevant.
friends with the 4 Wii wheels.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
There's the original Half-Life. Not a huge shock. There's Halo 1 right there. I told you it'd be on the list. Halo 1, they're sitting there number 32. So far, I believe Half-Life is still leading the most entries per franchise type of thing. Now, granted, all 3 Half-Life games are on here. There's only 3, so if there's any more Halos or any actually, that's
Zeldas.
it. Zelda, yeah, would be another one. We're out of portals. There's only 2 portals.
I need my Assassin's Creed, preferably 4.
Okay, I hope Assassin's Creed. I hope not. Wait, which one did you want? Which Assassin's Creed do you want?
Black Flag.
Black Flag is really good. I think Brotherhood is still the best. I think Brotherhood is still the crown jewel of the series.
Really? You like that one? That's actually, I think that might be the only one I didn't play.
Oh, you haven't played it?
No.
Oh, Brotherhood's the best one. I love Black Flag, but Brotherhood's the best one.
I think there was like a little hiatus because I think Unity came out and Unity was awful. And I think Brotherhood came out around then.
No.
Which one's Brotherhood?
Brotherhood was the second one, or it was the third one, because you had Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and then
Oh, it's part of the Ezio stuff?
It's part of the Ezio, yeah. I mean, Assassin's Creed 2 is really good. The whole Ezio franchise is great.
I'll accept Minecraft at 33.
That's fine. Yeah, that's probably fair. Minecraft at 33 is good. There's Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Yep. No shock there. Civ 4. I like this. I like a Civ game being on here. I like Civ 5 a lot, but I have no qualms with Civ 4 being up there. Civilization's a rev. It's an all-time franchise, all-time good franchise. Metal Gear Solid. Haven't played it. Know a lot of people really like it. There's the first Red Dead. Not surprising there. The first Red Dead was really good. One thing that was cool though about Red Dead, is that eventually they added on Undead Nightmare, which basically converted the entire game over to a huge wide open world zombie game, and it was fantastic. Last of Us Part 2. Saw the first one earlier. Shadow of Colossus. I don't know if I know this one. Yeah, I don't know if this is like a Bandai Namco game or something. I'm not sure. Resident Evil 4. I think I played Resident Evil 5 maybe. I've only ever played like the 1. Resident Evil's not my kind of game, but it's a big time. I will say
if you have to make 5 games.
No. There's a lot more than 5. There's like 9 or 10 Resident Evil games. There's tons.
You can't just like make it scarce like GTA. Like they're riding with 5. It's been
Resident Evil's been around for longer than GTA though. Like Resident Evil's been around
but
for
one
a long
game.
time.
Yeah.
Well, GTA is an anomaly though. Like games don't have active online communities for 7 years. Not console games. PC games do, but not console games. Console games don't have that kind of lifespan.
Hey, that should be the new standard.
I don't disagree with you, but GTA is an anomaly when it comes to that. Next one, Skyrim. I don't think that's not a surprise to me at all. I know a lot of people like Morrowind better, which is 3. I think Oblivion is generally put, that's 4, but Morrowind, so it's Elder Scrolls 3. I've heard a lot of people like that, like that's their favorite one, but there's a lot of people that have played a shitload of Skyrim, and I've played Skyrim. I've played it all the way through a couple of times. Skyrim's really good. You can burn a lot of time in Skyrim. Metroid Prime. I haven't played any of the Metroid games. Ooh, I like this one. Pokemon Yellow. I had that for Game Boy Color. I played that a lot. I think I played probably Crystal the most, but
the only Pokemon game I ever played was Pokemon Go.
Same.
You fucking kids.
Well, Levi,
Youths.
You're in the minority here.
Youths. Final Fantasy 6. I haven't played any of the Final Fantasy. Fallout New Vegas. That's a good one. I like New Vegas is usually considered the best Fallout, and Fallout is a good series. Yeah, in general, it's a really good Bethesda series. So that's a good inclusion on this. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. That's an old
that's a really good game.
Original Xbox and PS2 game.
It's a really good game.
They're
remaking that, by the way.
Yeah, it's getting remade for the new consoles, which I'm excited for. But Knights of the Old Republic is an excellent game. World of Warcraft. I've played it a little bit. It's not my kind of game, but I know obviously it's World of Warcraft.
That's just South Park to me.
Yep, that's all I get from that.
Starcraft. That's a good one. Starcraft has a huge player base. It's old, but it's got a huge player base. I mean, it's a pretty widely loved series. Diablo 2. Diablo 2 is another one of those. It's an over the top PC game. You have to kind of be into that kind of thing, but it's a good game for what it is. Earthbound. I don't know if I know this one. Oh, it's a JRPG. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played it. Left 4 Dead 2 is a good one. I like Left 4 Dead 2. It's a good multiplayer. The story's kind of whatever, but the multiplayer is a lot of fun in Left 4 Dead 2. Counter-Strike. This is not CSGO, which is interesting. But Counter-Strike is a hugely popular franchise. CSGO is still one of the most popular multiplayer games in the world, especially like as far as Twitch streams and competitive esports go. Miss Pac-Man. Interesting.
See, no. Games like that should not qualify for this.
Like knockoff games?
I mean, arcade games.
Or is Aiden
unless it's
sexist?
NBA Jam.
Is Aiden about to get canceled because he doesn't like female protagonists?
Has nothing to do with that.
Hollow Knight. I feel like I've actually heard of Hollow Knight. That's kind of like an indie game, if I remember correctly. I think Hollow Knight is like an indie PC game. Apex Legends. I remember playing that right when it came out. It's not like it came out. It was the problem. It was like the fourth or fifth battle royale game to come out. Like it was after Fortnite and after it was after PUBG and then after Fortnite and all this or whatever. Like
Fortnite should be higher on this list.
I disagree, actually.
Really?
I played Fortnite right when it came out. Like I played the campaign of Fortnite.
Hell yeah.
Nerd.
Campaign of Fortnite's pretty solid. Multiplayer was a nightmare. I hated the multiplayer format of the multiplayer of Fortnite. I couldn't stand it. Overwatch. I haven't played Overwatch personally, but I know a ton of people that have. It's a hugely popular esports game. Not surprised there. Uncharted 2 is another one. They're actually making an Uncharted movie with Tom Holland. Uncharted's a very cool franchise. Never heard of Journey or The Witness. Dishonored 2 is a franchise I've never played, but I know a lot of people that really like Dishonored.
Here we go. Finally.
This is a great game. I love all of the Arkham games are great, but Arkham City is phenomenal. Sounds like you played that one, Nate.
I played all three of those. I like Origins a lot.
You liked Oregon? Arkham Asylum was really good. I think I probably played Arkham City the most.
All three are good. I just like the winner. I like the winner aspect of Origins. I think
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Rise of the Tomb Raider. This was I'm pretty sure this is the new Tomb Raider that they remade. This is the second one in that. I've never played either of them, but apparently I don't know. This one must be pretty good. I don't know.
Are we gonna see any phone games on here? Am I gonna see Angry Birds?
Here you go. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. This is probably the one I would have put on there. The campaign for this is phenomenal. I mean, the campaign for this game is, and it has probably my favorite mission of all time, which is All Gillied Up. All Gillied Up is an incredible mission. For anybody that hasn't played it, like the idea you're in Chernobyl, which is funny because we were talking about Chernobyl earlier or whatever, but like you're like sneaking in a ghillie suit, and yet it's a hugely stealth-based mission. All Gillied Up is one of the best missions of any game ever, and I like having Modern Warfare on this list. I'm kind of surprised Modern Warfare 2 isn't, because Modern Warfare 2 is usually considered the better game, but I don't know. I have no qualms with Modern Warfare being there. I don't know anything about Control. I've heard of XCOM 2. I've never played it, but I know it's popular, and they're getting I think they're making an XCOM movie maybe. GTA San Andreas. I like that. And GTA San Andreas is very good. Most of the GTA games are really good. San Andreas is one of the best of the bunch, I would say. Silent Hill 2. I feel like I've heard of that. I mean, I've heard of the series, but I don't know anything about it. Another Mario game. Mario is definitely clean sweeping this thing. Yoshi's Island, Splinter Cell.
Never heard of it.
It's a Tom Clancy game. The Sims 3. Interesting. I guess I'm not really a Sims guy, but I don't know. Maybe it's worthy up there. The original Donkey Kong. I like that. Donkey Kong's fun. I had the original on my or whatever, a port of the original on Game Boy Color. Played the shit out of that game. It was great. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's from the Wii U.
There we go.
It's about time they show Mario Kart some respect around
This
here.
is Mario Kart.
Dota 2. That's a big esports game. Return of Obra Dinn. I don't know what that one is.
Some of these names are just pure gibberish to me.
Spelunky
Yep.
2. Yeah, I don't know what that one is. There's another Mario game. GoldenEye 007. That is the N64 version. That was.
Wait, you're just gonna skip
You're
over
gonna
Super
waffle
Smash
Super
Bros?
Smash.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. The problem is I saw another Mario game and I just kind of kept moving. But yeah, this should be the Wii version. Yeah, Super Smash Brothers, worthy inclusion for sure. I'm not very good at it, but worthy inclusion.
It's just button mashing.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yep.
GoldenEye 007 though is a cult favorite on N64. Because the famous kind of the meme from it is there was a character on named Oddjob that was really overpowered. But yeah, that's another one. Oh, we have some GoldenEye support here for easily a top 25 game. I don't necessarily have a qualms with someone that wants in the top 25. It's a little bit before like when I got into video. It's a little bit like pre me getting into video games. I've played it a couple times. But I don't have like extensive memories of it necessarily. But I know there's a ton of people that love that game. Fable 2, that's another. It's got a cult following. There's a new Fable game coming out sometime in the near future, and I'm sure it'll sell a ton of copies because Fable is a pretty well known franchise. There's Fortnite. 79. To me, honestly, it seems like this is probably on here due to popularity alone. I don't really think this is a particularly well-made game.
Oh, so all of a sudden, Fortnite it's okay if it's on there, but Tetris can be at 28, and that's okay only because it's popular.
Tetris is a great game, objectively.
It's nothing too crazy.
It sucks.
Yeah, it actually sucks.
No, it doesn't. It came out in the 80s, like, or maybe early 90s, whatever it was, early 90s or 80s. I mean, it's like for what it is and what it was when it came out, like it's a revolutionary game. Fortnite's just populated full of angry 9-year-olds. Dark
Tetris
Souls
is angry 90-year-olds.
So maybe. Well, now it is. Dark Souls. We saw Bloodborne earlier. Dark Souls is the first game in that series, and it's the Dark Souls. So anybody that doesn't know what the thing with Dark Souls, is Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, and there's another game in there. I can't remember what the name of it is, but they're noted for being extraordinarily difficult games. Like basically every enemy can one-shot you just like that, and there's no quest logs or anything like that. You're just roaming around getting one-shotted by everything. The whole world wants to kill you all the time. They're excellent games. Like the stories for them are truly excellent games, but they're just extremely, extremely difficult. Like you'll spend hours and hours on trying to kill one boss. But it's a very satisfying game to play for sure.
I could never play that kind of game.
Yeah, it definitely takes a lot of patience for sure. Persona 5 Royal. I feel like I've heard of Persona, but I don't really know what it is. And on the description doesn't really give us any hints as to what it is either. Mortal Kombat. That's probably fair. I mean, that doesn't shock me that one of those is on the list somewhere. System Shock. I don't know anything about that. Resident Evil 2. Monster Hunter World. Okay, this is interesting because this is a game that it didn't sell that well. Like it didn't sell a ton of copies or anything like that. And it doesn't have like a huge player base. But I actually have heard it is very good. So that doesn't. It surprises me. It surprises me to see it on there only because it's not like a mega popular game. But that's kind of cool though. There it is. I'm surprised this is not way higher.
That's a good one.
Honestly, I thought this should be way, way higher. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is a truly outstanding game. Like, I don't know how many hours I put into it, but it's a lot. It's an excellent, excellent game. I'm actually, this is probably one of the ones I'm upset with most so far, is how low Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is. Titanfall 2. Titanfall is a wildly underrated franchise. It's kind of got a moderately popular, but it's a much better version of a first-person shooter combat compared to like a Call of Duty or something like that. It's a really underrated franchise. Inside, I don't know anything about that. SimCity 2000 is a classic. There's YouTube videos of people that have played that game. They've played one city the entire time for like 20 years, and they're like thousands and thousands of years into the future or whatever, and it's interesting to watch. What else we got here? Thief 2: The Metal Age. I know what Thief is, but I've heard like it's kind of a cult classic, but I don't know anything about it, I guess.
We're running out of time for this list to make up for the
Animal Crossing is extremely
I'm sorry.
popular.
No, and that should not be on the list. If we
I haven't played Animal Crossing. There's a lot of people that really like Animal Crossing.
I'm bunching that one with Tetris.
Yep.
And Miss Pac-Man
Tetris, no.
or Pac-Man or whatever one of those on there.
Okay, so we've got 9 spots. What is there a game that you have not seen on here that you're like, it definitely needs to be on here?
Some Assassin's Creed game.
I would agree that an Assassin's Creed game deserves to be on here somewhere.
NCAA 14.
No, it's the problem is NCAA 14 isn't even the best NCAA football game.
The show, any of them.
Yeah.
The show's good, but it's not like an all-time.
There should be at least one sports game on here.
I would if I was gonna vote for a sports
Backyard
game to be
sports.
on here.
Hell yes.
If I was gonna vote for a sports game, it'd probably have to be like Madden 05 maybe.
04 with Michael Vick.
Madden 04 or actually NFL 2K5 is a better game. It's not going to be on here, but it's a better game than Madden 04.
Or NBA 2K11 where you could be Michael Jordan.
2K11 was very good. All right, let's keep moving. Mega Man 3, who gives a shit? It's Mega Man. League of Legends.
Boo.
I know, I mean, I get it. It's an extremely popular game. Fallout 2, very good game. No qualms with it being on here. I'm kind of surprised I didn't see more Fallout games, honestly. Yes! Okay, I'm so happy this game is here. Have you guys ever played any of the Burnout games?
I've never heard of the Burnout game.
Oh, man. Burnout 3 Takedown is an excellent game. The whole point of the game, I mean, it's a racing game, but kind of the point of it is to like wreck things, and you get extra points for wrecking your opponents and things like that. And they specifically, Burnout 3 has a specific mode called Takedown, I think it's called Demolition or Takedown mode, one of the two. The whole point is they give you like a scenario, and you have to crash your car into it in a very specific way to try to cause the biggest accident possible and to cause the biggest pileup possible. And you get extra points for, blowing up certain vehicles and doing flips and shit like that. It's an incredibly fun game. I played it a lot. I'm really happy this is actually on this list. I'm surprised it is because it's kind of a niche game, but it's really fun. Monkey Island 2 LeChuck. Fuck this game.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, an Assassin's Creed. There we go. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite Assassin's Creed game, but it is undeniably an excellent, excellent game. And I honestly think it should be a lot higher than 97. But
it should be 3.
It's on the list, and that's good. And that's good for me.
This list is backwards.
Okay, we have a comment here.
Sweet.
He says Assassin's Creed 1 or Black Flag.
Fair enough.
Flag, 100%.
I like it.
I would encourage you to go back and play Assassin's Creed 1. It doesn't age that well.
2 doesn't either. I tried playing 2 again, too.
I have recently played Brotherhood as recently as last week, and Brotherhood is still every bit as good. Brotherhood is incredible.
I would also say for
Brotherhood, Revelations 3, and Black Flag all have active multiplayer communities on PC. I'm in a Discord server to play multiplayer. If anybody has never played multiplayer Assassin's Creed, it is an exhilarating experience. It is fantastic.
I would say the other Assassin's Creed that I'd put on here that we didn't mention is Origins. I don't know if you guys have
Origins is good. I actually liked Odyssey. I liked Odyssey a little bit better, but Origins is very good.
I played Odyssey too. I don't know. I think that just the Egypt vibe I like better.
That's fair. That's right. Did you play Valhalla?
I haven't gotten it yet because it took me forever to finish Odyssey because of school and basketball and all that stuff. It took me like 3 years to finish Odyssey.
Sure. I really liked Valhalla. I liked Valhalla. I liked Odyssey better. I thought Odyssey was kind of just a cooler thing. Like Vikings are cool, but ancient Greece is cooler.
Yeah, it was a fun game.
What else we got? Final Fantasy 7. Who cares? It's
Lego
Final
Star
Fantasy.
Wars.
What do we got here? D&D Divinity Original 2 Sin. Interesting. Okay. I have some other games on here that haven't been included, but we only got one left. 100th game is Borderlands 2. Okay. Borderlands is a very popular franchise. It has a cult following, lots of stuff. I'm not shocked to see that Borderlands is on this list.
Fraud list. Call it the Big Ten.
This is the Big Ten of.
There wasn't okay. So there wasn't anything I saw on the list that I was like, oh my god, this should not be on the list.
Like Tetris or Tetris.
Tetris should definitely be on the list.
No.
There are a few games where I thought they should be on there, but they weren't. But there's also a bunch of games on there I haven't heard of or haven't played, so like I can't necessarily slander them too much. There was but there was sitcoms and movies that I'm like that I don't think they needed to be on the top 100.
I think our source is bad.
You think what?
I think our source website is bad.
IGN.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you because IGN is kind of not my favorite.
It says updated. It's relatively recent.
Updated as of this past January, which should have been right before Elden Ring came out. I bet if they made a new one right now, Elden Ring would be on this list. Yeah. I was trying to think if there was any major snubs that I can think of. I would think that NBA 2K11 probably deserved to be up there. It's a really good game. MVP Baseball 2005. That's my pick for best sports game ever made. It's really fun. I mean, for all the things that EA has done wrong, MVP Baseball is not one of them. 2005 was an incredible game. It had Manny Ramirez on the cover. It's great. I don't know. I can't really think of anything else, but the problem with sports games is that it's a narrow audience. Like nobody dabbles in sports games. You either play sports games or you don't.
And these nerds at IGN clearly don't.
Yeah, which is kind of funny though because IGN has been basically single-handedly propping up Madden for years, but whatever. Yeah. So that was the top 100 games. You love them, you hate them. There's Witcher 3 right there. Witcher 3 is great. Witcher 3 is good enough that they made a TV show about it.
They made a movie about Assassin's Creed and they only had one game.
Did you like the Assassin's Creed movie?
Oh, it was god awful, but they still made a movie.
I didn't think it was that bad. Actually, I didn't mind it. Like it wasn't 100% faithful recreation. Like I wish they would have stuck with existing canon. Like I wish they wouldn't have made up new canon. Like I think it was a bad move to not use Ezio. I mean, Ezio is such an obvious thing. You can make multiple movies with him. He's a great character. There's no reason to not use Ezio.
You could really use any character, honestly.
You could. Yeah, absolutely could. Actually, I really liked Assassin's Creed 3 in the Revolutionary War.
Connor's a good character.
I really liked it. Connor's a cool character.
And he could have done prequels with his dad being a Templar and then his grandpa being essentially a pirate.
Yeah, being a pirate.
Especially being Jack Sparrow with
basically wrists. The best part about of the many amazing parts of Black Flag, never has there ever been a game where I was perfectly happy just traveling around on the ship and listening to the sea shanties.
Yeah.
Do it for hours and hours with no problem at all. Once you get your ship upgraded all the way, then you get like some piddly guy that'll shoot you and you just smoke him with a cannon once and you're done. Smooth sailing, just listening to sea shanties. I will say that no game has ever made me just like travel around the map just because it's enjoyable.
Yeah, you have the option of fast travel and all that stuff.
And no, like, why would you fast travel in that game? There's no reason to. Just hop on the ship and listen to some sea shanties. So this is Disco Elysium. It's a new game apparently. 2019. Huh.
It's a good image for the viewers.
Yeah. Guy getting hung in a tree. Super. Anyways. I think we're about ready to wrap her up for this week though, Aiden, right?
I think so. Unless you got anything else.
I don't have anything else. You got anything else, Nate?
No, I mean, I think we hit a lot of stuff today.
We did. There's a full show. We're at an hour and 40 minutes. Holy shit, Aiden. You got to fucking reel this thing in, man.
Because we're reviewing that whack ass video game list.
Back at the video game list.
I'm gonna say I liked about 5 games on there.
Fair enough. The problem is sometimes video games are kind of like movies where you have these snobs that like very specific types of games, and those are the ones that end up on these lists. But like sports games are kind of like the Michael Bay movie, where it's like they're not like great movies, but they're fun. They're fun to watch. That's kind of like what sports games are. They're not great, but they're fun.
There you have it.
Take us home, Aiden.
All right. For Levi Stevenson, Nate Schuster, I'm Aiden Wyatt. Go Cyclones.